Bright Memory Infinite was originally released via Steam on November 12th, 2021, and then later ported to consoles on July 21st, 2022 for the Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. Bright Memory was originally developed by FYQD Studios, a one-man studio led by Zhang Xichang using the Unreal Engine. According to the Playism website in the developer's note, Zhang wanted to focus on adding content to give the players a more satisfying experience. Because of this, development took 3 times long as the original Bright Memory tech demo that came out in 2019. Though this process allowed Zhang to learn more how to create a strong game while dealing with time and financial constraints. He spent a lot of time thinking of ways to maximize whatever technology and resources available to him in order to deliver an unforgettable experience through the game. The game takes place in the year 2036, where you play as Sheila, who is sent by the Supernatural Science Research Organization, shortly abbreviated as SRO, to investigate this phenomenon that scientists themselves have no explanation for. You then discover that these strange occurrences are connected to an archaic mystery of an as of yet unknown history of 2 worlds that's about to come to light. So you load up in your little spaceship and you fly like a little peacock. So basically, after a whole scene and chapter of quick time events and jumping out of a spaceship that you just crash, you land in water, you come out water, and then you kill a couple guys. And this is where the game actually starts right here. This is where all the fun starts. Is all like you just straight up just come out the motherfucker and just start shooting everybody. It's pretty fun. We're basically introduced to the gameplay and how this game feels from the get-go after the beginning of chapter 3. And it definitely feels like a Devil May Cry if Devil May Cry was a first-person shooter and you get guns, like a automatic weapon instead of just 2 pistols. I mean, like in Devil May Cry, you already get like a variety of guns and weapons, especially in the first game of that. But this actually feels like if Devil May Cry was a legit first-person shooter, but it does not have like the Devil May Cry vibe. It's basically its own thing, and it pulls it off very well. The combat actually really flows in this, and I personally like it, and I think it actually comes together very well. So this game basically has 2 different enemy types. You have your normal human enemies who are trying to stop you from finding the truth about this phenomenon and the 2 worlds and stuff. Then you got your supernatural enemies, which are like these samurai, like ancient Chinese looking enemies, and they have shields. They come at you with like spears, bow and arrows, swords. And then there's also different types of variety of enemies of these guys, but they're mostly boss battles. The boss battles in this game are actually really entertaining. There's some boss battles where some bosses are easy, some bosses are just kind of like, whoa. Like, there's been like maybe 1 boss or 2 bosses that I've actually later on in this game have died multiple times on, or at least once. I think honestly at least once. There's actually been several chapters where I have actually died like maybe 3 times, 4 times, and there's chapters where I just breezed right through it. So the difficulty curve of this game is, I would say, is kind of all over the place. There's actually 2 different chapters in this game that aren't just first-person shooter hack and slash. There's actually a sneak mission, which is, I believe, the 4th chapter. And then 6th chapter, Close Call, is a driving mission. And that's basically the only 2 different types of missions in this game. Everything else is just standard first-person hack and slash, like I said before. So I feel like the one thing about this game that I have to stress is that this is not a long game at all. The runtime of this game is literally like close to an hour and a half. and there's at least 7 different chapters in this game, and at least 3 of them are a cinematic chapters, and then one's just straight up like the quick time events chapters, which is the second one, life and death. Other than that, all the other chapters is just straight action. You got the one sneaking chapter, which that sneaking chapter is honestly, I would probably say, one of the hardest chapters in this game, because I have gotten caught and died in that chapter multiple times during both of my playthroughs of this game. And it is honestly one of the most ridiculous freaking chapters of this game, out of the entire hour and a half runtime of this game, too. So that's actually, I feel like that's kind of saying something, but hey, to each their own. Another gripe that I honestly have with this game is that this game doesn't really have too much of a story to expand on because of its short runtime, I believe. Like, this game basically, it just had like some sort of backstory that was slapped on the game, and it was shipped with that. But at the end of the day, when you actually play this game, you realize that the story's not the focus point of this game. It's actually the gameplay itself. It's the fact that it's a first-person shooter that mends Devil May Cry hack and slash combat into a first-person view, with also a very with a very limited weapon selection, pretty much. And in all, it actually kind of pulls it off very well. I'm actually pretty impressed with how well it actually does pull this off. And for like a $20 price tag, it's honestly kind of a recommendation that you actually check this game out, because you're not going to find a good experience for that cheap anywhere else. At least I haven't personally. But hey, if you have, let a homie know. After I originally played the tech demo of this game back in 2019, I was actually pretty excited about the launch of this game, and especially at the fact that the Bright Memory Infinite here launched on the same exact day as the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition. And if you remember that launch, yeah, that was not a good launch. That was like basically Rockstar's Cyberpunk 2077 launch right there in my eyes. That's actually how I saw it. But I ended up getting this game for free on that same day that was released. And besides maybe like a Crash, I found this indie game right here, to have had a better launch than a AAA game. Now, that's just my opinion about modern gaming now in these days. You know, everybody has their own different opinions on it. But I just have not. There's just not too many newer games now in these days that actually catches my attention as much as certain indie games have. Like, there's been a very few good AAA games from AAA developers, but I feel like these past couple generations, the indie circuit has really taken it over, and I feel like Bright Memory Infinite from FYQD Studios and publisher Playism is a really good example of that to the fullest. Despite the runtime of this game, despite the lack of the story, this game really honestly shines where it needs to shine, and that is in the gameplay and how it looks and how it's presented. The graphics and the ray tracing on a NVIDIA graphics card are absolutely amazing, and this just makes this game look really realistic. I feel like this is one of those games where you actually wish that they would make a sequel to it, because you kind of want to see this game come back. You kind of maybe want to see this game make it into a series, and perhaps future games also have a longer play time, definitely more than a couple hours or so, I'm hoping, but that's just me. But I could also see this game just being like a one-hit wonder, you know? Because I'm not going to lie, it actually kind of does also feel like a one-hit wonder. And it feels like one of those games where, like, you'll be surprised if it does end up having a sequel or so. But if it doesn't, then that's honestly kind of cool. I'd like to see the developer branch out into something else, you know. If he doesn't want to make a second Bright Memory game, that's fine, you know. Like, he has shown his skills, he has shown what he can do, and it is very impressive, especially for a one-man project like this. Like, for this being made by one person, it looks really impressive, and I feel like that's also another reason why it had such a freaking short runtime to the point where it's just like it honestly kind of feels like you're legitimately playing a full-on movie right here. But the cutscenes are not like story cutscenes. They're just fill-ins for like maybe like scene transitions or level transitions. That's basically how the cutscenes in this game honestly feels. But that's okay because it works. Everything in this game works. If I could give this game a rating out of 5 stars, I honestly would give it a 4 out of 5 because you're legitimately getting what I feel like you are paying for. And for this game to straight up just be $20 for the content that is in this game, minus the character skins. Well, yeah, there's character skins in this game, but they don't even look bad, and they're cheap as shit too. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there's literally two brand new costumes that you could get for DLC that are legitimately only $1. So this game's not gonna break your bank. It's not gonna break your wallet unless you're actually poor. Then yeah, I mean, if you're actually poor, and you can't afford a $20 game. Hey, I've been there. I think we've all been there. So no judgment whatsoever. All right, so I think I'm done talking about this game. Honestly, yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's my very first video on YouTube. I don't know why I picked this game. Probably because it was one of the very first reviews of a video game I ever posted online in general. So I kind of figured, why not just make a video about it? So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys like and subscribe. It will help me out a lot. And till next time, till I find another game to talk about. Y'all take it easy. Peace.